and we'll just see what happens. And I chucked them online, and guess what? They didn't even sell. I couldn't even give them away for free. Now we're Australia's deepest A-frames.
Mate, I am so excited to have you on the cast.
Appreciate it, man.
Man, I appreciate you coming, spending the time with us. I know you quite well, Andrew Taylor, founder. Mate, you're a go-getter. I know a lot of these things already, but for the guys that don't know you, I want to start with, who is Andrew Taylor and what do you do?
So my name's Andrew Taylor, originally from South Auckland, New Zealand. Moved to Australia when I was, 21. And we started a brand called Livco that was once upon a time a lifestyle brand that has now formed into a hat brand. And now we're Australia's deepest A-frames.
Australia's deepest A-frames, but arguably Australia's best A-frame as well.
I would like to say that too.
It's a very popular product line. If there has ever been a staple product, I would say that is the staple product for your brand.
Yep, definitely.
Can you talk about what makes that product such a staple?
I think, like, for me, it's everybody wears a hat. Like, doesn't matter, like, whether you're, going out or you just hang out with mates. Majority of people like to wear a hat, right? So I originally started, Livco being a lifestyle brand, and then it obviously turned into a hat brand because I couldn't find hats that actually fitted my head. So I was like, I'm going to bring out these hats and we'll just see what happens. And I chucked them online, and guess what? They didn't even sell. I couldn't even give them away for free.
Really?
I still have the post on my Facebook page. If you scroll far, far back, where I actually talk about where I've got these hats where it's like, you can actually get this hat for free. All you got to do is pay for the shipping. I couldn't care less, just get them out of my site. And I could not give them away for free. And now we can't even keep them in stock.
Yeah, wow. So that wasn't where I thought that sentence was going.
Yes.
I thought it was off to the races day one.
Nah, man.
Okay, interesting. So how many iterations was the hat, like getting started? You did your first run.
Yep.
Landed the product, ready to ship it, put the site up and was like, right, we're going to start selling these things like hotcakes.
Yep.
Didn't happen.
No.
Okay, so was that a product problem? Was it a marketing problem? Where did all that...
I think it was definitely a marketing problem. I didn't know how to market back then. I was just your average guy that was building a clothing brand out of his mum's garage, right? And I didn't understand how to run Facebook ads, didn't understand all that type of stuff. So it's like I needed to get into the trenches and actually learn how to do these things, So what we did is we decided to create this model where it's like, what, I'm just going to put it on the website. It's completely sold out, but I'm going to keep running ads to it and hype the fuck out of it. Sorry if I'm not allowed to swear, but hype it up big time and see what comes from it. And then people were messaging like, how can I get this hat? And I was like, nah, man, it's sold out. Can't get it no more. And it was like, then I started to figure out like people's like, if they couldn't get it, they wanted it. So this is when we released our staple product being our starvation model.
Yeah, I got it. I love it. So that waitlist type model.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm not ready to dive too deep just on product at this point. So the hat, I suppose, is a million iterations. Like to get this thing right, you chuck the first one on, it's probably a little bit too deep,
Yep.
not deep enough. You do the back and forth on that first release, or the hat wasn't what the hat is today in that first release?
No, so the hat's definitely not what it is today. So we've changed fabrics, we've changed the sizing, because what we also found is a lot of our customers were like, yes, it's deep enough, it's just not wide enough. So it's like, how can we bring that into? And then we also found that it was like now too wide. So it's like, now we have to bring out different sections. So with clothing, it's like small, medium, large, extra large. Now we're bringing out multiple things we've got our standard fit, which is like our OG. And then we've just released our ultimate fit, which is like an absolute big daddy of a hat. Like if you cannot fit this hat, like, oh, there's something wrong.
Got it. Yeah, I got it. There's a little bit of like version control, I'm assuming.
Yep. And just listen to your customer. That's literally what it was. It's like what the customers like, what do they don't like, actually picking up the phone. And I think this is where a lot of people don't do. They don't pick the phone up and actually call their customer. It's like, hey, bro, it's Andrew from Livco. They're like, who? Like, what? Like, who are you from? I was like, oh, man, you recently just bought a hat from us. They're like, oh, yeah. It's like, tell me about it. Like, do you like it? What would you change different? Blah, blah, blah. And then that's how we were able to develop the product out from there.
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%. I know you're a strategist. So the thing that sticks out to me and the conversations that we've had is you're very heavily involved in like everything within the business.
Everything, yep.
And very much like, I suppose at the start, everyone's trying to figure it out, but you've learned a lot along the way in all facets of the business. So I suppose how could you best summarize what the business is day to day? E-commerce type business, a marketing type business? How would you explain it?
I would call it, it's literally a marketing business. Like at the end of the day, like a product is a product, but it's like to be successful in this industry, you've got to become a marketer. You've got to understand your product. You've got to understand your clientele. You've got to understand strategies that isn't working. Like what's going to work here in Australia is not going to work in New Zealand. What's going to work in New Zealand is not going to work in the US. So it's able to adapt and move really fucking fast. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong is they talk about the corporate life, they sit down, they have a million meetings. It's like, no, let's fucking run through that wall as fast as possible and pick the pieces up from there.
1,000% agree. Yeah, 1,000. And I see that is a common trend in anyone blowing up.
Yep.
They're just prepared to throw down instantly.
Yep.
They see an opportunity. It's like, you see it, someone's already gone.
100%. Yep. And I think even like from a marketing perspective is they want the pretty backdrops. They want the, the flash lighting and all that type of stuff, and as you know, as a marketer, it's like you can spend tens of thousands of dollars on campaigns and the photo or the video that you took on your phone will compare 10 times better than, spending all this money on full campaigns.
Yeah, it happens too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I hear you there. So getting started, what inspired you to start the brand? Tell me a little bit about the brand story, how it all come about.
Yeah. So it was actually quite a funny story. So I actually had a business with one of my best mates back in New Zealand and it failed. And I was on a flight home from New Zealand, literally licking my wounds. And I was sitting on a flight, where it's like 3 seats, 4 seats, 3 seats. And there was these two elderly ladies. They were in their late 60s and they were sitting next to me. And they've never been on a plane before. They're touch screens. And it's like you're from New Zealand. So you go back home and sometimes you see people just doing the same shit day in, day out. And you're like, mate, there's more to life. And anyway, I was chatting to these elderly ladies and they're like, they're both widows. They've got no husbands. And they're like, we've left life too late to live. This was their first overseas holiday at, late 60s. And that's where I sat there. And I was like, fuck, like there's more to life than what's actually out there. So literally still have the envelope that I designed our first logo on to this day. I still have that logo and I came up with it. And, obviously my business had just failed. I didn't have a job, didn't have anything. So I'm like, well, what do I got to do? So I went to a thing called Kickstarter. I'm not too sure if you're familiar with it. Went to Kickstarter, put it on a crowdfunding website and was like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm wanting to achieve. And let's see what happens. So I think we pledged for, it was like $4,000 or something along those lines. You got 30 days to hit it. And I think in the first 20 days, I think we had done like $800. And I was like, fuck, we're not going to hit this like type thing. So I started jumping on LinkedIn. This is when LinkedIn was brand spanking new, like reaching out to people, like, this is what I'm doing. Like, can anyone support, share it around, blah, blah, blah. And I think we ended up going over at like 4,200. And that's kind of how it kickstarted the brand. So we literally used other people's money to get the brand started.
Brand name was the same?
Brand name, exactly the same. Logos and everything has obviously developed over the time, but brand name exactly the same.
And coming into that, it was going to be the lifestyle brand. It
Yes.
wasn't a hat on the back of that envelope. It was lifestyle brand, and the hat sort of just evolved. You put wheels on there.
Think like City Beach, Rip Curl, Billabong. That's where I was like, that's the direction that I was going down. And we were in that direction, and then it just pivoted big time.
Got it. Now, licking your wounds on that flight back. So obviously, like we've all had those reality check moments. Things just don't fire the way you think that they're going to. What was that business?
So it was a company called Flush Fitment. So essentially what we were doing is we were importing wheels and tires from overseas, and we were doing like all JDM cars, lowering them, putting wheels and all that type of stuff on them. So it was a massive outlay. We're talking containers into the country. I was 21 at this point in time, and we're doing some big numbers. And this was back in the day, and you'll remember this, when you could hit boost on a Facebook post, put $100 on it, and then sales would just be flying through. But I didn't understand how good it was back then, and I thought we were wasting money. And then obviously the business, went south.
Got it. Yeah, got it. So you're flying domestically New Zealand at that point.
Yep, New Zealand back to Australia. Yep.
Got it. Yeah, got it. Okay, and you started as an entrepreneur. You started in a workforce. Where did you actually start out of school?
So when I first left school, I was actually working for the good guys in New Zealand.
Right.
So like selling like tech and all that type of stuff. But I think like I did this the other day on ChatGPT. I think my entrepreneurial journey started when I was so much younger, because obviously my mum had a business. It was, not successful. It was just average, type thing. But sitting in there and having these conversations where I would hear, big people like Rally New Zealand, like this director of Rally New Zealand coming in and having conversations with my mum about marketing. So I understood the print side of marketing. And hearing these conversations, and I was like, they're driving these nice cars and they've got these nice houses. I was like, I want that. Like, how can I do it? So I was always looking for the next dollar. Like, how can I build the next business? And I've tried a range of different businesses over my time.
Yeah, I got it. And what's really interesting is like I look at the show notes. So we send out like the show notes to just get an understanding of a couple of things that we want to tease out. You're so, I would say, like brand story focused.
Yep.
So I'd imagine that in every business, you've always led brand and story.
100%.
Okay.
Yep.
And where do you think that all started?
I think it's like, for me, like I'm an introvert extrovert, and the biggest thing that I would see like on social media is like these big corporate brands, they've got the pretty girls on social media and all that type of stuff. It's like, let's get somebody real, let's get somebody raw, someone that speaks how it is, they've got bad language, they've got food on their shirts and all that type of stuff. It's like, let's be a genuine person, and when you're authentic, it's just going to move products. If you're, fake and you're pretending to be somebody that you're not, people see through that really fast. So I said to myself from the start, like, if I'm going to put myself on social media, I'm going to be authentic. I still have the Snapchat videos back when Snapchat was cool back in the day of me building the brand with inside my mum's garage. And even I still remember having that new era hat sitting on my desk going like, fuck, I'm going to build like the next big hat brand, and having all the designs in front of me and all that type of stuff.
Super cool in hindsight, huh?
Yeah.
I'm very similar. I like timeline everything. So I think
you need to document the journey. That's where, like, you think about your parents, like, I wish that I could see back to when my mum and dad started, like, in their, careers, like, everything that they did to get to where they are now. And that's why I was like, I want to do that for not only people that are watching in, but for my kids.
1,000% for your kids and even for yourself. Like it's such a moment when you get a little bit of chance to retrospect on that, man, that those things are light me up because I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay. So brand and story always at the forefront of everything you do.
Yep.
Do you start with like a framework around building a company out and like, hey, this is the story that this brand has to tell? Like, what are the actual practical steps you take before you do anything with anyone to flush out what that brand's going to be?
But to be honest, I think like the first thing that I do with like majority of companies is like, I want to put it out to the market and test it first. If I can put it out to the market and test it, it's like, cool, I've got something that's going to work. And then let's build out the branding and the story and the logos and the color palette. Because too many people, they start with the branding, the logos, how it's going to envision. And then next minute, they're 6 to 12 months and they haven't even launched. And then by the time they launch, that whole concept of that whole marketing has completely shifted. So it's like, run through the wall first, test it, then come back to building that brand.
Yeah, I got it. And agree with that as well. I might do a couple more steps at the start just to have a very clear idea of what I'm going to place.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree with the testing. Like send it out and let the customer decide and then iterate from that.
100%. Yep.
Completely agree. Now, obviously, it hasn't all been easy in this latest one. This one is off to the races, but you've had your fair share of hardship.
Yep.
Tell me about a couple of moments there where things have come unstuck, or moments that stick out across the timeline where, you're faced with a bit of adversity and it's...
Yeah, I think like probably the biggest thing that probably steps back to me is like I went through like a real tough time in my life where it's like, I had been made redundant from my job. My partner had just walked out on me. I literally had nothing, like no job, no partner, no nothing. And I'm like, it's the only thing that can get me out of this is believing in myself. And that's where it was just like that pivotal, it's like that crossroad. It's like I can either go down this road and feel sorry for myself and, become that victim and all that type of stuff, or I can go down this road and just show to myself that I can, do that. And that's probably the biggest thing that steps out to me, because if for that to happen, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm grateful for going through that learning, because if that hadn't have happened, I wouldn't be where I am today.
And do you think a lot of those experiences now, I suppose, pillar the brand that you have, because that mindset and that mentality is a lot of, I suppose, what you tell your community and what your community is buying into when they're buying that product?
Believing in yourself 100%. And even like, even I think it was about this time last year, it's like we had literally spent every single dollar that we had in our bank account, like everything from the Livco bank accounts, everything from my personal bank accounts, everything from my other business's bank account, where I had just poured every single dollar into it. And I still remember, and you remember, being invited to Simon's apartment, where it's like, I remember having that conversation with him where he was like, there's no difference between me and him and Adrian Patelli, me or you. The biggest difference is who's got the biggest balls to go all in and, really back themselves. And I remember sitting there and I remember saying to my partner, I was just like, I don't know if this is going to work out. And she's like, fucking believe in yourself. Like, if you believe in yourself, this is going to be happen. And I think that month we grew by like something like 300%.
Yeah, it's they're those pivotal moments, huh?
Yeah. And it's backing yourself.
It's the burn the boat moment for sure.
Yep.
So as you know, I've got the partner in the solar company, or the boys in the solar company, and that's definitely like occurred for us multiple times, where it's like, dude, we like burn the boats.
Yep, 100%. Got to burn it at both ends, because if you just stay stagnant, you're never going to grow.
And Simon's a big instigator of, like, I think a lot of the thinking around that, like we obviously hear from him frequently, those ideas about just like throwing down and going all in when there's an opportunity there. How many of those moments do you think are happening? Is it an annual thing? Is it happening every month?
It'd be happening every month, 100%, because it's like, you know what it's like from an advertisement point of view. It's like you look at your ads and you're like, okay, well, I can throw down here. This could go south, but I'm going to throw down. I'm going to see what happens. I'll give you a bit of an example. We took a risk with all the tariff stuff that's happening, with the US and stuff like that. And we took a risk last week. We were like, okay, let's open up to the US market and kind of see what happens. We've tested to them before, didn't really work out. Let's give it a crack. And I've never seen cost per acquisitions this cheap in a long time. We're talking like 15 ROAS. And I'm like, if I didn't like back myself and go all in on that, and it was like Friday wake up, it's like, okay, this is really working. Double down, double the budget again. Woke up Saturday morning, like double the budget again. Like, let's see how far we can push it. It's like, and if you don't burn the boat at both ends, you're just going to be in the same spot.
Completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree. Okay. In some of the show notes, every product, every post, every piece of branding has to be clear. I definitely see that with you. I know on the back of this, people are going to follow along to see exactly what I'm talking about. So I suppose the direction from here and the clarity that you have for the Live brand, what is it doing from here? Where are you going?
We want to take it worldwide. We want to be the next New Era. We want to be the next Michelin-ness. We want everyone to be wearing a Livco hat, whether it's male, female, doesn't matter the ethnic, like everyone's repping a Livco hat because they believe in it in some shape or form of the live, don't just exist. It's all about living life to the fullest. When you put that hat on, like you're repping that hat with pride. You're like, yes, like it doesn't matter whether you're a stay-at-home mum or dad, whether you're an entrepreneur or somebody that's struggling to get through life. When you put that hat on, like it represents like, I'm going to do this and I can make it happen.
I love that. And obviously there's young guys getting into the space constantly. They're looking up to people like you every other day. And I suppose similar to maybe how you're looking up to the Mitchell and Ness or even the Simon Beards of the world. What is the thing that you would tell the younger Andrew? Is it believe in yourself?
Believe in yourself would definitely be one. Don't listen to anyone that's not in the position that you want to be in. That's probably a key one. Like, don't take advice from your mum or your dad if they've struggled with money. Don't take advice from Aunt Margaret down the street that's never owned a business and she's trying to give you business advice. Like, definitely don't. And then on the back of that, it's like, if you were to start a clothing brand today, focus on the starvation model. Like, create hype, create urgency, create that community. Because when you've got that community, all you need is 1,000 raving customers, right? And you're doing a 7-figure business within your first 12 months.
Yeah, I completely agree. The opportunity, there's abundance out there.
Oh, so much. Like, we're in this world now where, like, even I was chatting to mum the other day and we were talking about the old yellow pages, and you remember the old yellow pages. It's like, she used to put an ad in the yellow page and it used to cost her $50,000 and she doesn't even know if it's going to work. It's like, you can spend $50,000 in Facebook ads and you can read the data, you can track what's going on. It's like, we're in a world now where there's so much opportunity, and especially with ChatGPT, it's like, if you don't know how to do something, go to it, ask it, get it to learn who you are and how you operate, and it's going to give you the real honest truth.
That's probably like the last couple of things that I've got for you. I know that you spend a lot of money on yourself, just improving yourself and learning from others who have treaded the path outside of ChatGPT. Some of these older guys, these mentors that you sort of get around or you look up to, I suppose, how much value in those community and investing in yourself have you found? Like, is there?
Yeah, massively. I think it's just like, when you're in a room where it's like you're the biggest player in the room, you're in the wrong room. But then you get into some of these rooms where these dudes are doing $100 million a year, and it's like, hold on, like I'm just a small fish. But the cool thing about it is, like, some of these dudes that are doing $100 million a year are coming to you for advice for marketing. You're like, hold on, dude, you built $100 million business. They're like, yeah, but you're doing something that I don't know. So it gives you that confidence that to go, okay, well, if he can build $100 million business, there's no reason that I can't build $100 million business.
1,000%.
It's been in the right rooms, 100%.
1,000%. No, I agree with that completely. Practical advice. So next steps, as we just covered off, I'm young, looking to get started. I'm thinking it's probably going to be the next City Beach or whatever it is. Step one is get around the right people. Talk me through actionable steps from here. What do I need to know? Who do I need to get around? Or what rooms do I need to be in? Zero budget, because let's be honest, we will start at zero. Practical steps to take for someone looking to streamline themselves to your spot?
First thing, one thing is I'll take a back step. Start with building that personal brand. That is the ultimate key. Like, talk about who you are, what you're looking to do, and who you're looking to achieve. And then I'd be thinking about, like, who's in that space that I can learn of? How can I reach out to these people? And it's not just reaching out to them saying, hey, can I pick your brain? It's like, provide them with some form of value, because you think these guys are getting millions of messages every single day. Like, hey, can I pick your brain? Can I take you for a coffee? Like, that's a half an hour drive for them, an hour of their conversation, half an hour drive. That's 2 hours of their day. If they average their wage, let's say at $1,000 an hour, they've just lost, $2,000. So it's like, provide value to these people, and then they're going to give you something in return, So build a personal brand, get in contact with as many people as you possibly can, and then start building out, that starvation model. Drop 1 to 2 pieces of product every single month for the next 12 months, because month one, and you know this, with what you've done in your career, is like, how you market in month 1 versus how you market in month 12, 24, 36 is completely different. So it's like, by getting in the reps, it's like going to the gym. You don't just go in there and bench 100 kilos today. It's like, you go in there, you show up, you do the reps. And that's what you need to do in your business, is actually fucking get into it.
Man, I love this. Well, you said, let's make this one memorable. I want someone to walk away ready to go all in. And I genuinely believe in these couple of minutes that we've shared together, that's exactly what's going to happen.
How good.
Appreciate you, man.
Nah, anytime, man.